And in the second hour, we like to have the opportunity to talk to an artist that is somewhere, somehow out there, involved with the country music industry. And we've had many over the years, and some of them have the opportunity to return. And we're so excited to have back on board a gentleman that had been with us a while back, hailing from Anchorage, Alaska, now residing in Tennessee in the Nashville area. And living the dream, so to speak. And, he started singing in church, and he's been working on this for quite a while. He's got some accolades under his belt. We're going to find out what this guy is up to. Please, everybody, make welcome Doug Briney. Doug, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Casey, and thank you for having me back on. It's exciting.
Yeah, well, we like to have our artists back on every once in a while because we never know where you ended up. So it's always nice to find out what's going on and how things have changed in your life. And are you still pursuing what you were when we talked the first time? So let's back up, though, a little bit, Doug, and talk a little, just kind of give my listening audience, if they don't remember, a little bit more about you, just a quick history about where you started, and then get us to a little bit more present, maybe up to as far as like 2013, and we'll start there.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Doug Briney. I grew up singing in church. My first solo was 2 years old at Rose Drive Baptist Church in Yorba Linda, California. So I've been singing, and I grew up singing in youth groups, leading congregational music. I went to college as a music major, graduated there, so I had the opportunity to sing in quartets, also San Diego Opera Company, a couple of the choruses that they did. So grew up doing that, moved to Bath, Michigan, a little tiny town there, spent 4 years working as a music and youth minister. Then we moved up to Alaska and spent the next 21 years there living in Alaska, working on as a music minister and a youth minister, as well as then the past 9 years as a pastor there. Still involved in that, still involved in music. About 9 years ago, I entered a local competition up there, just kind of for a fun thing to do, and with a local radio station there, K-Bear Country station there. It's 104.1 in the Anchorage area, and entered that competition, kind of something fun, and I enjoyed it so much, I kind of kept going back, and the radio station started using me for its promotional. When they would do country nights at different venues, they would have me out as the guest artist to sing, and that led to me putting out my first CD, which was called It's All Country, and that brings us up to about there in a very quick synopsis. And I came 2013, I signed with Tate Music Group out of Mustang, Oklahoma, and recorded the current project that is out right now, and the title of that album is Super Country Cowboy.
Right. So, you've kind of been on a whirlwind ride, and if I read correctly, you've actually moved to Nashville now. You're living in the Nashville area?
That is correct. We made that move exactly 2 years ago. August 1 will be 2 years that we've been here in the Nashville area. Yeah,
and you like it. It's got to be like an epicenter for you to be able to do what you do.
It's an incredible place for the music. I'm still adjusting to the heat and humidity. I'm outside right now. My son has a yard maintenance business, and he's 16, but we have to wait till next month for him to get his license, just the time it takes. So Dad's got to go with him everywhere right now to get to his job. So I took a little time off this afternoon, and I'm out here. We're spreading some mulch, but it's hot. I'm sitting in the shade on these in his lovely backyard that belongs to one of his clients here, and I'm sitting on a nice swing, enjoying the breeze and the shade for the moment.
Yeah, and and that's kind of interesting. You kind of get wrapped up with some things where you think, these country music artists, they just sit inside and people wait on them hand and foot. But nine out of 10 times, they're out there doing their thing just like everybody else, breaking down in the car, helping out their kids,
That's it. I haven't figured out how to just do that with two 16-year-old boys, and both of them working and very active in sports and athletics and businesses and their jobs and stuff. We're running all the time. Not to mention then I still work as an associate pastor here, full-time, as well as full-time dad, as well as full-time musician. So, every once in a while I get a chance to sleep. I actually got to sit home the other night, and I did something I haven't done for a long time. I watched UFC on television, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's the only sport that I sit down and watch is UFC, and I just had a great time doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you have the opportunity to do that once in a while. I mean, everybody's life gets crazy, and people just, forget to take a moment and relax every once in a while. But, you've kind of been on fire. I just want to mention this. Back in 2013, you released your debut album, It's All About Country, in 2012. That's got a couple of tunes out there. I think we probably were talking about that a little bit. But then in 2013, you were recognized as Independent Country Music Association Award. You managed to walk away with that one. So it must be a good feeling to know that all your hard work's paying off a little bit here and there with the albums that you've been producing.
Oh, it is. It's very exciting. The ICMA was gracious. I got the Performance of the Year. Since then, I've also won through the IMEA. Video of the Year, have been nominated with Nashville Universe the past 2 years as male vocalist, and had the opportunity to perform there at their showcases during CMA Fest, and to be in the top 5 there. The Heritage Music Awards, which is run by the same group that does the Grammys, and got to be a part of that award show last year and made it to the top 5 in male vocalists. So, it's some really nice accolades coming in, some nice recognition, and it is very exciting and very humbling. Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be. It's kind of it's just a little bit of going that you're going in the right direction when people are recognizing your music and your talent and stuff, and kind of helps you continue, because I'm sure you get a lot of no's in the business too. You get a lot of not this time, not right now, and you got to kind of be persistent, and you got to believe in yourself, and I think that's one of the things that you have going for you, and you got to have that. You just gotta.
Yeah, and that's something I tell people coming up in this industry all the time. Understand, you're going to hear no at least 100 times before you ever hear a yes.
Right.
And you've got to, and you can't take it personally. You just have to keep going. It's just not the right time. And eventually, they're going to be calling you and wanting you and saying, "Hey, will you please come? Will you do this? Will you do that?" Then you'll be able to look at your schedule and say, that doesn't work because I'm out of town this weekend. I won't be back in town, and so it is. It's one of those things that you're going to hear no a whole lot, and you can't take it personally. You just have to recognize that they don't know your name yet. They haven't seen you perform. They don't know you yet. So keep plugging along.
I mean, and when you believe in yourself and especially if you've kind of been at it and you're kind of designing your own kind of style, I mean, I think one of the big things about you is you're kind of taking both sides of the fence, sort of. You're taking the Tom T. Halls, the Eddie Arnolds, the Alabama, the Kenny Rogers, the Lee Greenwood sound, and you're taking it and mixing it with some of the new sounds that are out there, like the Chris Youngs, the Toby Keiths, the Ronnie Dunn, and you're creating a sound all your own. Kind of having that going on. And the songs that are on your album, are they all songs that you wrote, Doug?
Oh, I wish I could say that they're songs that I wrote. Most of the songs all the songs on both projects were songs that that we shopped for and that we purchased the rights to record.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Parkinson's song, which I know we're going to be talking about that's one that I co-wrote with a buddy of mine, and we can talk about that a little bit, but I have done a lot more writing since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to moving to Nashville, I did very limited writing, but I've done a lot more and becoming much more proficient with it and enjoying the process a lot more now that I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Yeah. Now, the first album you released back in 2012, but this new one you just released in 2013, and this is the one, the Super Country Cowboy, this new album that you have out. You want to kind of give us a brief overall of where this album came from and what it's all about and what it means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Super Country Cowboy, I tell folks it's kind of, if you really want to get to know Doug Briney, listen to the songs on this album, because every song on that album tells a story about my life and has a deep meaning to me. From the title track, Super Country Cowboy, that's kind of an autobiographical sketch of who I am. Dad liked all the very traditional older country. Mom liked the pop music of the day. I gravitated more towards the country. That's what I listened to and enjoyed. However, I can still sing every Beach Boys song ever written.
Right.
So that's kind of an autobiographical sketch. So the song Choices You Make is really a song. I've got a very good friend, John, that I grew up with, and that song is really kind of a song about Johnny and myself. And the song Believe, which is a Brooks and Dunn cover, that's the only cover that we put on the album. That song I always dedicate to my neighbor that I grew up with, a gentleman by the name of Ulysses Basham. And I was at college whenever I got the phone call that he had passed away, and there's so many parallels in that song. I used to spend a lot of time on his front porch and learned a lot about life from him. Mm-hmm. Pretty Big Deal is a song about being a dad to 4 great kids. I Get To is a song that is something that we've told our kids since before they were born. My wife and I purposed that we would never tell our kids that they had to go to church, that they had to go do things. We've always said, hey, guys, come on, let's get up, let's get moving here. It's our church day. We get to go to church. And so that was the first song that I selected for this project. And, mm-hmm. Every song on there has personal meaning to me, to this album. So it's really a piece of Doug Briney in many different facets.
Right. And now all of this, the fact that you have 2 albums out, you're getting some accolades and you're getting recognition and people are calling you and saying, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Them almost feel like a pretty big deal. So how'd you like that?
I like that. That's a good segue. I like that.
So with it being such a pretty big deal, I'm kind of curious to know what that song is all about. Now, this is off your latest album, the Super Country Cowboy album. People can find this song on that album, a pretty big deal.
That's right, and this is the current single that we have out right now. They can find that on the album. They can go to, as a matter of fact, for the next 24 hours, if they go to my Reverb Nation page, they can actually get this song for free. We're pretty excited. Last week, this song was voted number 1 for independent country song. It made the number 1 chart for the number 1 country chart for independent country musicians.
Nice.
Music. And so as a celebration, we've been giving this song away, and I'm going to be giving that away for another 24 hours. Actually, tomorrow at noon, this song comes down won't be available free anymore. It'll go back to its 99 cents price, but they can go to my Reverb Nation page and find that there.
Nice. So if you want to get your hands on this song, you have it out on several avenues, including iTunes and a couple other the electronic outlets. But go to the Reverb Nation page for Doug Briney, and you can get your hands on this. But where does this inspiration come from for you to pick this song for the album, Doug?
This is a song that any parent will recognize. I have 4 great children, and we really do have a good relationship with all 4 of our kids. We talk to them on a regular basis. Of course, we still have my 2 16-year-olds are at home, and we have a great relationship with them all. But there's something about the innocence of those 4-year-olds. And please don't misunderstand. I don't want to go back. Mm-hmm. But I do kind of miss that innocence of the 4-year-olds when Mom and Dad knew everything. You could say, you could tell them anything, and they believed it, and you were just that big deal to your kids at that point. And that's what this song is all about. It's being a pretty big deal for my 4 kids.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool, Doug. Well, listen, I think we're going to get our listening audience to give it a listen. We have to take a quick break, but if you can hang in there for a little bit longer, Doug, yes?
Yeah, let's Yep, I can definitely hang in.
All right. Well, he's going to hang in there for just a few more moments, and we are going to come back with Doug Briney's single that is out right now that you can get your hands on for free if you go to his Rebird Nation page, and you will be able to get your hands on it. But we got to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more Doug Briney. We're going to tell you a little bit about another song and something that's very close to his heart coming up in just a moment. And we're also going to let you know how you can get your hands on the rest of his music, how you can find him on Facebook and things along that line. So don't go anywhere, everybody. We still got more with Doug Briney to come in just a moment, plus his new single coming up right after the break. It's a little something called Pretty Big Deal. Give it a listen. We'll be back in just a minute. There you go. Off of his, off of his new album that is out. It's called Super Country Cowboy. But if you go to the Reverb Nation, find Doug Briney on that. You can get your hands on that for free. Right, Doug?
That's right, for the next 24 hours.
There you go. So if you want to do that, go right ahead and jump on board with that and see if you can get that for yourself. But if you want the entire album, we're going to tell you how you can get that also in just a minute. But you know, one of the things that I always admire about you guys, you know, you're out there, you're out there trying to make some money. You're trying to make a living out of being a country star, singing, writing, doing your thing. But one of the things that's always really cool is when I find out that you can turn all that off and set that all aside and use your talent to help somebody out and have a foundation, maybe more than one, maybe just one, but whatever it is, and dedicate some time to it. And I know you have a couple, but one of them, of course, we want to touch base on is the National Parkinson's Foundation. You want to tell us how you got involved with that and why?
Absolutely. Well, I've got a very good friend here in Nashville. His name is Howie Garut, and Howie has Parkinson's disease. And matter of fact, this past week he had a really rough time. He couldn't even get out of the house this past week, but he was having a rough day before he moved to Nashville. He was living in Portland, Oregon. He was having a rough day, and Parkinson's Day, which if you know anything about Parkinson's, you're shaking a lot and very uncontrollably, and having a hard time walking. And he was taking a bus, and he got on the bus, and he was shaking, and there was two young men at the back of the bus who were laughing and making fun of him because they were thinking that he needed a fix. It was a little bit later on, and he was waiting for a different bus, and he overheard a mother telling her son, "See, honey, that's the reason that you don't do drugs." Now, Howie does look a little bit rough, but, the prejudgment. And he wrote a very angry poem based on those experiences. And I took that poem and I changed it around a little bit, gave it some resolution, and took the anger out of it but left the frustration, and wrote the song Parkinson's Song, and put it to music, and we went into the studio and recorded that. And what we did with that is we contacted the National Parkinson's Foundation and said, "Hey, this is a song that we just written about Parkinson's. It's from a first-hand account. And if you're interested, we'd like to partner with you on that." And they loved it. They said every Parkinson's patient knows exactly what that song is and understands it perfectly. And they were all over it. So we partnered with the National Parkinson's Foundation, and we're giving all the proceeds from that song directly to them.
Nice.
We're excited to be able to do that. But it was through Howie Garut that I got connected with that, just knowing the troubles, the trials that he goes through on a daily basis.
Yeah. And, it's sad. It's sad to think that, people are, a little judgmental if they don't if they don't understand something, instead of asking why, they just want to come up with their own reasons. And I can imagine with not only with Parkinson's, but a lot of other diseases that affect people, there's so many. I mean, there's just so many of them that you don't understand why someone looks the way they look or why they act the way they look or why.
Well, we preconceive, we have preconceived notions about pretty much everything, and especially visually. We see something and we think we understand it right away. I just watched a very interesting, of all things, a YouTube video on Facebook the other day where they took people and they put them in an absolute dark room where they couldn't see one another, and they started sharing their life story with one another in this dark room. And then they turned the lights on, and the people were not anything what they had thought they were based upon what they could hear. They
right.
They looked completely different. And it's just breaking down those stereotypes. That's exactly what this song is about, is to help break down the stereotypes. Hey, take some time, get to know me. You'll find out I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a drug user. It's Parkinson's that I've got.
Right. Right. And awareness is part of that, and understanding or how to help someone who has it, and that's what the foundation, it needs help with, when it comes to the funding, to find out why it affects people the way it affects them and what we can do to help them and help them control that disease a little bit better. And, awareness is always a big part of any disease, making people aware of what it is, how it affects people, so you can take that judgment out of the equation altogether, and instead of doing that and saying, oh, they're on drugs, or they're this, or they're that, or they're looking for a fix, it's like, wow, maybe this person could use some help. Maybe I can help them with the door. Maybe I can give them a seat to sit in if they're having a hard time holding on, and think outside of the box of going, oh, just instead of bashing on somebody, maybe give it a real reason if there is something, that they have no control over whatsoever, and give them the benefit of the doubt. And that's a nice message.
Yeah, and it is one of those things. And Casey, I wasn't aware of how many Parkinson's patients there are in the United States. There's over 4 million Parkinson's patients here in the United States. And when you figure just 3 members per household, and that's actually a little bit less than average, but, let's just say 3 members that are affected by the family. That's 12 million people in our nation alone that are affected directly by Parkinson's.
Wow. And
so the need is definitely there.
What's one way that people can help out, Doug? Is there a foundation that they can check out on the website?
NationalParkinson'sFoundation.org is the website. If they go directly to my website, DougBriney.com, and the thing that we're encouraging them to do is purchase the song.
Okay.
It's 99 cents. And if they purchase it directly through my website, it goes directly to the profits from that song. It goes directly to the National Parkinson's Foundation.
Nice.
And that's what we're hoping that people will do.
Okay. Well, we're gonna do a bottom of the hour ID here, Doug, and we're gonna come back with that song. I want everybody to really give it a listen, and just kind of like tuck it in the back of your brain. The next time you see somebody who might be shaking or having an issue or can't open a door or whatever, instead of being judgmental, maybe think a little bit more outside the box. We're going to come back with that song, and it's called Parkinson's Song by Doug Briney, off of his album that just got put out there. And if you...
This one is... I'm sorry, Case, I didn't mean to interrupt, but this one is not on an album.
Oh, okay.
Standalone. This is a standalone single.
Okay.
It's available through iTunes and everything else, but we're asking folks to do it through the website, because if it goes through iTunes, we have to pay iTunes a bunch of money.
Okay.
We have to do it through the website. I control that, and I don't have to pay anybody except for the National Parkinson's Foundation, all the profit.
All right. Well, that sounds like an awesome plan. So that's what you guys need to do. Go to DougBriney.com if you want to get your hands on the song, and make a 99-cent donation to a foundation that they're still looking for reasons and cures for something like this, and also help out with awareness. Doug, we'll be right back in just a moment with that song, and everybody can give it a listen in just a minute, right here on Penn Speak Radio. Parkinson's songs from Mr. Doug Briney. And remember, if you want to make a donation to the National Parkinson's Foundation to help awareness, find out the cause of this, find out a cure, or at least help these people be able to control their shakiness, you can order the song directly through Doug Briney's website at DougBriney.com, and the 99 cents will go directly to the foundation. And hopefully that's another one of those diseases, we can get taken care of and check off the old to-do list. You know what I mean, Doug?
That's exactly right. We'd sure love to be able to at least get a control on it. That's for sure.
Yeah. And awareness is a big thing, and knowledge and educating the public and things like that. That goes a long way, too, for people to be able to understand, at least be a little bit compassionate, and not so judgmental. So that's a good thing. And again, go directly through the website at DougBriney.com to get that one, to make that donation. So hopefully you'll get a few more of those sold over the next couple of days. So Doug, you got a lot of things going on. You got this new album, Super Country Cowboy, out there.
Right.
You're a very busy man. Can you give us a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge on anything new that you've got coming up soon on your to-do list?
We've got several dates that are coming up that I'm excited about. One of them is just coming up this Friday, be able to chance to perform with some of the legends of country music again. I had that opportunity at the start of CMA Fest. Lulu Roman has turned into a phenomenal friend of mine. Folks might remember Lulu from a little tiny television program called Hee-Haw. and she was one of the original cast members, and to have that opportunity to perform with her there is just remarkable. One of the things we're working on right now is what are we going to do with this with the next project, and we're going to kind of go back to I say roots, but country and gospel are my roots, and so we're looking at putting out a country gospel CD for the next project. And so right now we're at the very beginning stages of just talking about what what we want it to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to use more traditional country gospel songs or more contemporary? What do we want this thing to look like? And so that's what we're in the mix doing right now.
Awesome. And that sounds like a plan. Now, people can find you on your website at DougBriney.com, but you're also social media. You're on the Facebook, the Twitter, and stuff?
Facebook, at facebook.com/DB-songs. Twitter at twitter.com, DougBriney. ReverbNation.com/Doug Briney there as well. So, we're out there all over social media and webpage and all over the place. And I'll just say, note, if anybody wants to write in an email or something, email me right through my website. I am the only one who gets that email, and so I reply to every email that I get from my website.
Nice. And you can see all the connections also on his website. If you do want to follow him on Facebook or Twitter, they're all right there at the top. You can find it right at DougBriney.com. All the stuff is on there. Doug, to close out the interview, I always like to do a song from my artist at the end of the show, and Michael did get back to me, so I have the title track of Super Country Cowboy. Another song that's off that album, though, is Unknown Soldier. Do you have a preference of which one you want me to close out the show with, sir?
Let's close out. We Unknown Soldier, we dedicated all the proceeds from that to Operation Troop Aid.
Okay.
I have an absolute love for our military, but so folks get a little sense of who I am. I think let's close out with Super Country Cowboy. If we've got that one, that'd be a great one to close out with.
Okay, well, you're going to be folks are going to have to listen to the end of the show until we get to that, and that, of course, is the title track, Super Country Cowboy. Maybe I'll even sneak in Unknown Soldier in just a little while, too, to give people a little listen to that, just because I think it's a neat song. But, Doug, I appreciate you coming back, and we wish you all the best. And it sounds like you're on fire. Sounds like you're doing some amazing, amazing things. Remember, if you want the free Pretty Big Deal, you can go to the Reverb Nation site for Doug Briney and get that one for free until tomorrow at noon. If you want to make a donation to the Nashville Parkinson's Foundation, buy the song Parkinson's Songs right through Doug Briney's website. That's the only way that the donation happens. Check him out on Facebook, Twitter, Reverb Nation, YouTube. And if you want to listen to some of his music, you can also catch that off your website as well and find out where you're going to be.
That's exactly right. Casey, thank you so much for having me on today. And a big thank you to the listeners as well. I say this a lot, but I mean it. If it wasn't for the listeners and it wasn't for you guys playing the music and the listeners requesting it, whatnot, I might as well just be singing in the shower. So I really appreciate the fans out there that are requesting it and doing that. It means an awful lot to me.
Well, I know the fans love your music, and obviously you've gotten a couple of awards to prove that. So stay true to yourself, my friend. And, Michael, we'll get back in touch when you got something new and exciting again going on. We'd love to have you back on the show in a little while. But, hey, if you're ever up in the area of Pennsylvania, you're more than welcome to swing by the studios as well. That invitation always stands. You know that.
I appreciate that. I am actually going to be in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be in the Pittsburgh area here at the beginning of August. So I may do that.
Okay. We're on the other side of the state, so it's a little bit of a trek, but it depends on how much time you have to wiggle. We're on the other side.
We'll do it the next trip then.
All right. Well, you take care, sir. Safe travels. Good luck with everything you have going on. We'll look forward to hearing about that new CD adventure that you are getting out on. And I'll remind folks about the Parkinson songs throughout the show and about the Pretty Big Deal. And we'll feature the title track at the end of the show. Then, Doug.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Casey.
All right.
Have a great day.
Take care, sir. You have an awesome day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye now.